3D printers have been around for many years. It is only until recently that 3D printers are affordable enough and also smart enough to automate many different headache-inducing steps like bed leveling and such. I've been drooling at 3D printers for such a long time, and each time I wanted to get a 3D printer, I eventually just didn't have the courage to bite the bullet. But recently, I got myself this, the FlashForge Adventurer 5M Pro. I did many research and eventually settled for this 3D printer because of its ease of usage and also has a lot of features that I need. An enclosed 3D printer automates a lot of the processes to the point that it's essentially a one-click print. And sure, this printer is not perfect, and let me share my experience with you. How is it like to actually have a 3D printer at home? Now, this is not a review of the FlashForge Adventurer 5M Pro, but it is my tool in this experience here. But before we begin, do give us a like and subscribe because we don't have any sponsors for our videos. Your support really does help us out a lot. And this is a rather unusual video from us, so let us know. What do you think down in the comment section below? So, one reason why I got a 3D printer now is because the ease of setup and maintenance. When I unboxed the 3D printer, the setup process was just about 5 minutes, and I did hit a snag there because there was something wrong with the initial test print. This is something that I'm aware of because I did check many other reviews of this FlashForge Adventurer 5M Pro 3D printer before purchasing it. So after updating the firmware, I immediately printed something. I found out that sites like Printables and Thingiverse have a vast library of things that can be downloaded and printed for free, and some of them are just very high quality models as well. The first thing that I sliced before I got the 3D printer is a simple thing. It's a cover for the XG mobile connector on the ROG Ally, and this print took mere minutes to complete. Once I placed it on the Ally though, I realized that it fits way too well and I have no way to actually take it out easily without destroying the print. Never mind, I never plan to take it out anyway. And this might look warped here, but that is due to the heat coming out of the ROG Ally, so there's that. Now, the second thing that I printed was a simple tool holder, which I designed myself as a practice on Onshape. Then I wanted to get a nice charging stand for my Samsung Galaxy Watch 6 Classic that I'm wearing here. And there are a lot of stands available online that I can actually buy, but they don't fit my watch because of this watch strap and because I have a protective case as well that just made this watch become very thick. So I wanted to print this design, but it wouldn't work because the two sides of the charger here would interfere with the strap. Since I don't have access to this 3D model, I just recreated everything on Onshape with a few changes, and I printed this out. And it works very well. A bit too well actually. I can't take out the charger since I forgot to put a hole behind. If you want to 3D print this stand for yourself, then the link is down in the description below. I added the hole at the back, by the way. One thing that I do like about 3D printing is rapid prototyping. I can just have a sudden thought of something and I can just print something to immediately potentially improve the functionality of something else. And then I can start designing and print it out. That is what I did for a project that my colleagues call it as Yi Zai, which means ear in Cantonese. It's a cap for the Zoom H1N microphone with two holes pointed directly into the microphones. I designed this so I can stuff in earbuds and record sound quality directly off it. Of course, it went through multiple iterations. The first iteration was literally an ear, which didn't actually work for earphones because it's just not loud enough. And secondly is this thing, but the holes are way too big and at the wrong location. And lastly is the simplest, most effective final design. I did tape some foam on the microphone as a buffer, and this is what I used to test the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. So if you want to watch that review, link is at the top right corner there. I would have to say this design actually worked better than I expected. The reason why I designed this is because since I already have the Zoom H1N and it's not really utilized that much, why not just design something to make it useful in some other way. Yeah. Now we've talked a lot about the magic of 3D printing. Just tell it a shape and all of a sudden your shape materializes into one object. But there are a lot of things that we need to know before we can actually print something. For example, the filament. There are multiple types of filament, and even just PLA itself has multiple different types as well. It's usually written on a box, so read the details there if you want to know what's the filament diameter and also the temperature that we should be printing with those filaments. However, this matte grey PLA filament doesn't come with any additional information on the box, and the information available is practically the same as the burnt titanium filament that I got from FlashForge as well. I kept getting failed prints with this matte grey PLA filament until I read somewhere online that says I needed to change it to hardened steel nozzle. Luckily, this FlashForge Adventurer 5M Pro does come with a 0.6mm hardened steel nozzle in the box, so I just changed my settings in the slicer, changed that nozzle, and then finally got a successful print. There is still one filament that I don't know how to print properly. This flexible PLA filament from FlashForge themselves. I finally got one successful print out of this filament, but it looks absolutely disgusting. There are a lot of holes and I can hear some popping sound when it is printing, which means the filament is too wet and my environment is too humid. Again, the box didn't write anything special for this filament at all, and the humidity sensor that I have says that it is at only 40%. Not really that humid, right? And this filament also sticks to the PEI plate very strongly, and eventually I just used the masking tape technique to make it easier to remove. If you have any idea how I can print successfully using this flexible PLA filament, please do let me know down in the comment section below, because it's quite wasteful to just throw the entire filament away. My friend also told me that PLA is an easy material to work with, but it won't last long, and he recommended me to use PETG instead. So after I'm done with these rows of filaments, I'm gonna switch to PETG just, for the sake of experimenting. Again, I don't know much about filaments and there are a lot to learn. Of course, shit happens with 3D printers. A very common issue is when the nozzle stops extruding plastic. I clicked the button to have it extrude more plastic, but it just didn't work. And that is when I need to dismantle the entire extruder to troubleshoot. Now, this might sound like a big task for many people, but I'm very confident when it comes to dismantling these electronic parts. And I actually dismantled the entire, well, not entire, just down to the motherboard of the ROG Ally with like zero prior experience. So I'm just confident enough to work with electronics. And once I got the extruder head open, I discovered there was a tiny piece of filament that broke inside the gear chamber. Once I got that piece of plastic out, everything worked properly again. But should you buy a 3D printer? Well, that is actually a very difficult question to answer. You see, when I got this 3D printer, I have many things to print. And yes, it did elevate my user experience to a whole new level. But once I'm kind of out of stuff to print, well, the 3D printer just collects dust. Also, there are many things that need to be learned before we can actually start using a 3D printer. We have to learn about filaments, nozzles, and also how to maintain a 3D printer when any issues arise. We'll also have to learn how to use a slicer software, and for me, I do use Orca Slicer because it has profiles that I am gonna use, and it just is very quick to do everything that I need. We also need to learn how to design stuff in 3D, and I do have some experience in CAD software, so it kind of works out for me. Eventually, I did settle to use Onshape because I do think that it's one of the fastest, most reliable, and also kind of easy to use software, and I designed quite a lot of stuff using Onshape. These 5 things are already discounting stuff like bed leveling and all of those stuff, because bed leveling is done on the 3D printer itself automatically. And this is the reason why it took me so long to actually get a 3D printer, because the modern slew of features available there is just gonna make my life so much easier. So let me rephrase the question. Do I regret getting this 3D printer? Well, a little actually. Even though I can print a lot of stuff to improve or fix my other stuff, it's mostly sitting there collecting dust and eating up space most of the time. While I have the ability to print stuff quickly and cheaply, I also have to spend time maintaining and troubleshooting when problems arise. However, for me personally, I do think that the pros outweigh the cons. So it's gonna eat up some space, but it's good to have a 3D printer around me. Do let me know what you think. Do you want to get a 3D printer? Do you own a 3D printer? And what do you print with your 3D printer? Let me know down in the comment section below. And remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.